jump into today's show, I want to send a special shout out to Ashley. You're always with us, always loved, and never forgotten. Welcome to Earth is Ghetto. What's up, beautiful people? And happy Tuesday, July 7th. Welcome back to Earth is Ghetto, and I'm your host, Love. I hope you're feeling good and ready to tackle another day because we've got plenty to get into. As always, we'll kick things off with a little inspiration to help set the tone. Then we'll dive into today's biggest headlines, talk about what's happening in entertainment and pop culture, and wrap things up with some laughs from our comedy clips. No matter where you're listening from, at work, on the road, or just trying to survive another day on this wild little planet, we're glad you're here. So grab your coffee, your tea, or whatever gets you through the day, and let's get this Tuesday started. This is Earth is Ghetto with your host, Love. Let's get into it.
What up, y'all? Happy Tuesday, July 7th. That means that I got a choice to make this weekend. July 11th is the 7-Eleven Slurpee. Let's switch up from my free zonies at Quick Trip and venture over to 7-Eleven. I told my husband I would if I find... My mouth is like frozen right now because I just actually finished eating some of my free zoning. But I told my husband I would if I could find a place that has a lot of flavors. Other than that, y'all, because the 7-Eleven mommy only has like 4 flavors, and I'm a woman that needs variety. Other than that, y'all, we have done nothing today, really. Worked out, got in the pool a little bit, which is nice. It was hot again. My house is back to normal. My house guests have vacated, and they've made it safely to their destination. So, all is well, man. It's quiet, which I pray for these days. So, I'm thankful for these days. So, yeah, let's hop over into the news, see what's popping. See what's going on in the world. I don't know, allegedly Mitch McConnell has passed away. They've been saying it forever, but there's not an official announcement, but they saying it. Former NBA star Scottie Pippen and his new 23-year-old girlfriend are going viral after making their public appearance. I mean, his wife like him young, he like him young, his ex-wife, I mean, that's, President Trump confirmed that he is constructing a granite helicopter landing pad for Marine One on the White House South Lawn. 50 Cent turns 51 today. Whoopi Goldberg misses the view after an active volcano traps her in Sicily. No, Whoopi got trapped in Sicily. Burglars stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry from the museum of French luxury glassmaker Lalique. I don't know. I'm saying it like that because it's French, but anyway, they stole some stuff again from over there. A father who went back into his burning Maryland home to look for his 10-year-old child has passed away, according to fire officials who are investigating whether fireworks may have sparked the 4th of July blaze. So sad. George E. Johnson, the pioneer black hair care entrepreneur who created Ultra Sheen and Afro Sheen, has passed away. Ariana Grande spent the 4th of July with her ex-boyfriend, Ricky Alvarez. Students from Fairfax High School in Los Angeles, California in 1975, they were looking fly. They had that drip. That's drip right there. Kai Cenat announces his Twitch return after a 9-month break. Going back to streaming. Erica Kirk races into court flanked by bodyguards as she prepares to face Charlie Kirk's alleged unaliver Tyler Robinson for the first time. Justin Bieber soaks up the sun while paddleboarding solo in Idaho on Taylor Swift's wedding weekend. Was he supposed to be there or something? SZA reveals she has been diagnosed with high-functioning autism and displays traits associated with Asperger's. Multiple cars submerged on Ocean Avenue in New Jersey. Toddler passes away after being left in a hot car by babysitter amid soaring Florida temperatures. So this guy, they never cook a fresh meal. He's a firefighter, so he just collects the leftover food from the fire station and brings it home for dinner. Now that is cheap. I mean, I get bringing home some stuff from work, but it's kind of insane. This is really sad. A body was found in search for football player Nolan Xavier Wells, 18, who vanished during 4th of July celebration. Big Tigger's alleged mistress sues estranged wife for defamation. 80% of Americans are now facing scam encounters as fraudsters tighten their grip across the U.S. People are saying from everybody doing prank calls as kids, they get their payback. Lauren Bennett, the party rock anthem singer and GRL member, passes away at 37. Security camera footage shows the moment a roof collapsed at a BJ store in Oakhurst, New Jersey. That's crazy. I wonder if BJ's got some lawsuit money though. Cuba's national electric grid has collapsed into a total blackout. Powerful rip currents off of Daytona Beach, Florida, unalived 2 people and led more than 200 rescues over the holiday weekend. President Trump confirms that he asked FIFA to review U.S. soccer's player Valerian Balogun's red card suspension before the organization reversed its decision. Well, it didn't help because the U.S. lost, so... King Charles yanks his invitation from Prince Harry to stay at Buckingham Palace. This is just too much drama with these royals. They said he was going, and they said he wasn't going. Russia launches waves of missiles and drones targeting Kyiv that have unalived at least 7 people, authorities say, hours after Ukraine's president warned that another large-scale attack was imminent. I think that might be all she wrote in the news. The news, it was kind of a slow news day, which is a good thing. People saying that since Trump did what he did for the American team, they lost. Yeah, that's it on the news, y'all. Let's hop over to Tickety Talk, see what I got. These are so funny. It says practicing for Netflix documentary on black women who can't do the Tamia line dance. That would be me. There's another one in here for spades, which was also me.
What if I told you that simply using 2 words to label a bad mood can instantly reduce its power over your body by up to 50%? Sounds like magic, right? It's actually pure neuroscience. What's up? I'm Rich. I'm a licensed therapist. And here's 30 seconds of therapy. So when you're overwhelmed by anger, anxiety, or sadness, your brain's emotional alarm system, the amygdala, is firing on all cylinders. But the moment you pause and say out loud, I am feeling deep frustration, or I am feeling heavy anxiety, a shift happens. So in therapy, we call this name it to tame it. By labeling the emotion, you pass the microphone from the panic survival brain to your logical frontal lobe. Create a pocket of space and grace between what you feel and how you react. Stop fighting the feeling, name it, let it pass, and give yourself some grace.
You know, this sounds very reasonable, but the believer in me is like, I don't want to speak into existence. I can't say it out loud. I don't know if I'll ever try that. Somebody said, not me thinking 2 words were I'm rich. Yeah, I love positive affirmations. I don't want to say the negative stuff out loud.
I miss my mom, I miss my dad, I miss the road, I miss my band, giving hugs and shaking hands. It's a mystery, I suppose, just how long this thing goes. And there be crowds and there be shows. There will be light after dark. Someday when we are 6 feet apart. Bring home the troops. I miss.
Bring home the troops. He could really have a smash hit with this, though.
Put a finger down if in September of 2018 you got married and your soon-to-be husband made it very clear that he wanted you to have your dream wedding. So he didn't want you to worry about money. He didn't want you to really worry about too much of a budget. He just wanted you to focus on whatever you wanted. He wanted you to get it. And he even went so far as to make sure he was eligible for bonuses at work so he can get said extra money to give you to put towards whatever you needed for the wedding, because he's a good man, Savannah. And so you did just that. You booked your dream venue, you bought your dream dress, you had everything that your heart desired for your wedding. And everything was paid for in cash, nothing was paid for through credit, and everything was just going so smooth. Well, the week leading up to your wedding, there's a big storm set to come to Charlotte on the weekend of your wedding. And so now all your out-of-town guests are panicking and flights are canceling and it's a lot of mayhem. But nonetheless, on your wedding day, some people from out of town actually end up driving because they were so committed to being there and did not want to miss your day. And obviously all the local people showed up to your wedding, so you still had a really great turnout. The day actually ended up being super beautiful, super sunny, and it was just an all-around great day. Everything turned out perfect. And during your wedding ceremony, you guys did the washing of the hands, which represented a fresh start and forgiveness for anything that you guys did during the relationship. You know, it just represented we're starting fresh, we're starting anew, and we're letting go of whatever we did prior to. You guys also did the mixing of the sand, which represented us coming together as one, and you know, that could never be broken. You also had your officiant do the infamous vows, which is what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Okay? Let no man put asunder. Well, the ceremony was a success. The cocktail hour was amazing. The reception was a success. Like I said, it was a great turnout, contrary to a lot of your out-of-town guests not being able to make it. But everything turned out so beautiful. People even said that you had a Pinterest wedding. It was beautiful. Only for 6 years later, you find out that one of your wedding guests was actually, in fact, your husband's side hoe. And they have been dealing with each other during your relationship, during your engagement. She was clearly at the wedding and even embraced you with a hug and said, "This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful." And they continued to talk to each other and deal with each other during the course of your marriage.
Get ready with me while I tell you the time that I'm pretty sure my husband tried to poison me and then got mad because I didn't eat the food, or confused that he didn't know that I didn't eat the food. And so then I think he tested out the poison on the dog and killed the dog. This is all speculation and my personal opinion and my personal belief based on the situation and the facts. So after I had filed for divorce, it was such an awkward conversation because he just didn't care. He just was like, whatever. And so a couple of days later, he showed up to my work and left food at the front desk with the ladies at the front desk, and then was like, "This is for my wife." And they were like, "Who's your wife?" They didn't even know who he was. And he told them, and they were like, "Oh, okay." So one of the gals comes back, she's like, "Hey, your husband brought you food." And I was like, what? He's never brought me food before, ever. Our entire relationship, our entire marriage, he's never brought me food. He's never even bought my food. I've had to pay for my own food. So I was like, what in the world is going on? So I go out there, and it's a black plastic bag, and inside of this black plastic bag is one of those soup container kind of things, the clear, I don't even know. You get what I'm saying. And I was like, I don't even know what's in this. I don't know what this is. He's never brought me food before, right? And what a weird thing to do. Normally I think that especially if you get in a fight or something and somebody brings you food, they're just doing a nice thing, right? But the fact that he's never, ever, ever done this before, and it was after I filed for divorce and had like a conversation with him about it, I had like all the red flags going off in my head. So I've listened and seen too much true crime. I was like, I told the girls, I was like, I'm not eating that. And they were like, why? And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's poison. I'm not eating that. And so I just immediately went and threw it in the trash. Like, I'm not eating that. So then, like, months go by, right? Like, he's kicked me out of the house. I've gotten most of my stuff out of the house. I very rarely ever see him anywhere, ever. And so I get this notification from, I'm not even going to say who it's from because it's somehow going to make it back and then that person's going to get in trouble. But anyways, that the dog had died. And I was like, how? She was only like 2 or 3 years old. Like, she was a super, super good dog. Never got into anything. Her name's Georgie. I'll put a picture in here because she's just freaking cutest. And a little neurotic. She's a cattle dog, so like they're all neurotic and to some extent. But anyways, she had died. And so I was like, well, how did she die? And they explained to me how she died, right? So I was like, interesting, because it's not, my first thought was, okay, she jumped the fence, maybe was running through the neighborhood, got hit by a car, I don't know. But no, that is not at all what happened. Apparently, according to this person, they just came home and she had thrown up blood everywhere and defecated everywhere and was just dead, unresponsive. So I call up a friend of mine who is a vet tech and I'm like, hey, I have a hypothetical for you. I have a question for you, based on, you know, what I know. And she was like, okie dokie. And I give her the facts of the situation, right? And again, this is not a dog who like gets into things ever, right? So I was like, there's no way she got into some sort of like household chemical or the trash or, you know, something that somebody left out. Like she was not that dog ever. So I told my friend what had happened and she said, well, without doing, you know, a formal autopsy or anything like that, like I can't tell you for certain, you know, what happened or maybe what was in her system that could have caused that. She's like, but those types of deaths, like in that manner, typically only happen from either consuming some sort of like chemical that could cause that reaction or poison. And she said the most likely culprit in her experience when stuff like that has happened has been rodent poison, like for rats and mice. So I was like, very interesting. Again, like if there were rats or mice in the house, she's still not going to get into it. Like she just wasn't that kind of dog. She just never was. She's such a good dog. So my theory, again, based off of my experience and the facts of the situation, is that he tried to poison me and it didn't work because I didn't eat the food and he didn't know that I didn't eat the food. So he tried the poison on the dog, which clearly worked. I wanted to share this story for a while now, but I've been like kind of afraid to talk about it. But after talking with the police, after getting my stuff out of the house and talking with the police, all these people that have been coming to me being like, oh, I hired a lawyer, I'm going to sue you. I'm finding out that you can't sue me for my opinion or for things that I'm expressing, I think, or feel. And I also found out through this whole process that I think my true calling is above and beyond what I am doing now. So I applied to law school.
I hope she gets that investigated, because that's so many charges that should be filed.
I'm gonna go ahead and document this because why the fuck not? Right? Yes, especially if it comes back negative. That's even better, right? Okay, so currently I am in my car in front of Walmart doing an at-home HIV test. Why? Why do you say? Because I just got notice from my husband that he is supposedly positive for HIV. Oh my God. But do you want to know how I found out? Not via him, not via a doctor. But no. I found out because his daughter-in-law said, hey, what medicine are you on for herpes? I said, Valtrex. I have herpes 1, by the way. If you don't know, now you know. If you fucking hate me, oh well. At least I know. At least I'm willing to talk to people about it when I have it. That's what men won't do. That's what men who give the disease to other women won't do. Anyways, I have herpes 1. I have it vaginally. You can have herpes 1 or herpes 2 anywhere on your body. You can have herpes 2 in your fucking eyeball. It doesn't fucking matter. It does not discriminate. Okay. Anyways, so the point to the matter is, she asked me what medicine I was on for herpes. I said Valtrex. She said, is that for HIV or is that for herpes? I said, herpes. LOL, I don't have HIV. Famous last words, apparently. Because then she says, well, did Dad talk to you about the results? Fuck you mean? What results? What are you talking about? And I'm calling everybody. I'm freaking out. Calling everybody. Finally, my husband finally answers the phone and says, what? What do you want? What do you want? Yeah, I tested positive for HIV. I said, you know it's illegal for you not to disclose that to me, right? Especially if you think it came from me. Mind you, we haven't even had sex in the last... It's been 4 months, at least, since we've had sex. I had given him oral in the last month of our marriage. That's it. But I've been gone from there since May 31st. Been out of that house. Or not May 31st, March 31st. Been out of that fucking house. We have, no, And we weren't sleeping together for, again, a month before we separated. I was giving him oral, but that's it, because I couldn't do anything. I just couldn't fucking do it anymore. Anyways, neither here nor there. So the point is, I'm at the Walmart parking lot doing an at-home HIV test because I'm currently terrified. So here you go, guys. Here's the little booklet that they give you with an OraQuick at-home Walmart HIV test. This is the instructions. It had me swab my cheeks. There's the directions for what cheek to swab. And yes, I have a timer going. Duh. I'm negative. I'm negative. I'm fucking negative. And I'm so excited for that. I swear, I was gonna lose my BPD battle today if that would have been positive. And
Get it checked again at the doctor, because I don't know. That was a lot of instructions and a lot of the stuff people be saying on this TikTok app. Woof.
I've been paralyzed for 45 days now. 45 days. And I don't know, I guess I got some thoughts, you know. During this process, I've been relatively okay. I don't know how to explain it, but I've been okay. You know, I thought I've been in the dumps of hell trying to pull a Britney and shave all my hair off, but I haven't done that yet. Not because I didn't have razors available, but because I didn't let my moments become a day, you know? And I've had times in my life where I did, like, every bad moment became a bad hour, a bad day, a bad month. And now while my body's at its lowest, I physically can't allow it, you know? Because in this process, everything's up to me. You know, we're only as strong physically as we are mentally. Everybody in our lives were as impacted as we were, you know. And the best we can do is put our best foot forward for them, for us.
I love this, like, what she's sharing. Like, she got hit by a drunk driver, and just, like, what she said resonated so much with me. Just like the mental state is so much, it's probably almost more important almost than the physical. Obviously in her situation it is, because she's remaining positive in this, and she's saying she has no choice. Gosh, that's amazing. Because we think like things that we have, we complain about, but this is just really inspiring.
I just had to pull my car over to tell you this story, right? So I was on my way to a barbecue, and this guy that I've been dating for 3 months invited me to a 4th of July barbecue, maybe like 3 weeks ago. So I'm driving right now, and I'm on my way, and he calls me, and he's like, "You close?" And I was like, "No, not really, like 15, 20 minutes. And he was like, "Oh, cool. You gonna meet my mama?" I said, "Oh, you didn't tell me your mom's gonna be there." And he's like, don't panic, it's okay. She's gonna love you, you're gonna be great. And I said, my mask slipped. I said, I ain't worried about that. Who wants to meet somebody's mama? Mothers aren't what they used to be. Mothers, it's not an honor to meet a mother. And in my 43 years of being on this earth, I've never met a mother that was worth meeting. I don't meet mothers no more. Meet y'all for what? Meet a mother for what? She's not on my side. She's going to help you. She'll help you lie to me. She'll help you bury a body. She'll help you. Like, mothers don't have integrity like they used to. There is no, a while ago, it used to mean something when a man used to introduce you to his mother. That meant the relationship was serious. That meant he took you serious. That meant he really liked you. That don't mean anything now. So I told him that I've never met a mother that was worth meeting. And that pushed him over the edge. And I told him I wasn't coming. And he was like, yeah, I think that makes sense, but I don't know why you tripping. And I said, I do trip. So we got off the phone. I'm not going over there. And I think I have a new rule. I don't even think I want to date you unless your mama's dead. And that'll just avoid all of this. If you have a living mother that I can shake hands with, I don't think I'm interested. Because I don't know anybody's mother that was worth it.
Is she anybody's mother? Believe me, first of all, I love my mother-in-law. I looked up so much with her, but this lady's jaded, and the comments agree. People said you need to heal. Somebody said your hair wasn't done anyway, so win is a win. Somebody said he hoped he realized that God saved him from a lot of heartache and pain. People said, girl, are you okay? This is strange. Somebody said that was disrespectful. Even if you don't want to meet someone's mother, he was just being a gentleman. Yeah, she just came out. The bad part is none of the comments agree with her, because I was like, that's kind of insane. Like, a person comes from a mom, so you would almost want to meet the mother. To me, that tells you a lot about how a person is raised. But
A couple weekends ago, it was a Sunday, my fiance is like, what are you doing today? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go hiking with my buddy Frank. She's like, you're going hiking with a guy? I'm like, yeah, he wants to go hiking. Like, what's the ish? She's like, well, is he gonna try to hook up with you? I was like, I don't think so. She's like, well, guys want to hook up with you. I was like, well, what about chicks? She's like, I don't worry about that. I was like, but I'm not gay. She's like, yeah, but you're just so sweet. I'm like, you think I'm so sweet? I just let some guy fuck me? What's that, Frank? Oh, you want to have your way with me? Yeah, no worries.
I want to welcome you to Therapy Thursdays. Tonight, God has a word for you, so I want to welcome you in. Go ahead and pull up a chair. If you're in the vehicle, remain focused. Listen, I know that God has a transformative word for you on this evening or this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you're streaming from. Go ahead and take out some paper, something to write with, something to write on, because what God has for you, I don't want you to miss it. Go ahead, text someone, tag someone, let them know tonight we're dealing with how to process your pain. For a moment, I want to talk from the subject. Ouch. That hurt me. Listen. I'm excited about the word, and as I've sat in private, allowing God to download and deposit and to make bread fresh, I'm excited that God would allow me to be a vessel that will share with you this word. I know my brother has been dealing with pain several weeks ago, and we get to revisit this subject and probably from a different angle. I'm excited because today we have to deal with something that is absolutely necessary, something that perhaps is impacting your family relationships, your work relationships, your romantic relationships, and even your relationship with yourself. Here is one thing that is true. One thing that is absolutely true is that if you live long enough, you're going to have a personal encounter with pain. Oh, I'm sorry. We're already in it. We're already in it. I don't want to waste any time because God has a word for you. If you live long enough, you're not going to experience a pain from somebody else. No. If you live long enough, you're going to have a personal encounter with pain. Here's the thing. Many of us know God, but many of us have not experienced God as healer. And because we don't know God as healer, many times we misplace and mishandle that pain. So pain is unavoidable. You're going to experience pain. But if you do not know God as healer, it's a good chance you will misplace and mishandle that pain, and the trauma you should have let go and released and given to God, because you don't know and trust him as healer, you hold on to it. The only reason we hold on to the pain, the only reason that we hold on to the trauma is because we don't fully trust God with it. And until we encounter God as healer and trust God as healer, then we will keep holding on to the very thing that we should let go. Pain is unavoidable. Somebody say, ouch, that hurt. Type, ouch, that hurt. There are many forms of pain. There is family pain, friendship pain, romantic pain, workplace pain. There is pain that is caused by church. Somebody say church hurt, church pain, church hurt, church pain. But there's also self-inflicted pain. Many of us don't pursue friendships because of pain that we've experienced and pain that has not been addressed. Many of us have commitment issues because of pain that we've experienced in our past. Many of us, we live an isolated life because we have experienced a pain that is still present somewhere in our lives. Here is a true statement. I need y'all to come in. I need y'all to pull up a seat because we're in it. Here is a true statement. For many believers, Christians, Bible-toting believers, for many of us, our singular goal in life has become to experience as little pain as possible. Or let me say it this way. For many Bible-toting believers, a singular goal that we have is to avoid experiencing pain by all means necessary. I'm going to say it one more time. For many of us who go to church every week, for many of us who pray the prayers to God, our singular goal is to avoid experiencing pain by any means necessary. And for some of us, we're saying, I don't see the problem with the fact that I want to avoid pain by any means necessary. Because we have developed a philosophy that says, I will not and I do not want to experience pain by any means necessary, that becomes absolutely debilitating to your purpose. You cannot fulfill your calling. You cannot fulfill your purpose. You cannot live a thriving life trying to avoid pain by any means necessary. Come here, come here. I'm about to set the foundation.
Summer's wrapping up and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that does.
I'm about to set the foundation. When we find ourselves, many times when we try to live a life that avoids pain, what happens is when we find ourselves in a situation that presents a specific pain to us, what we do is we react in a way that insulates and protects us from experiencing it. For those of us, many of us, including myself, What ends up happening is when we find ourselves in a specific situation where a specific pain is presented to us, what we have the tendency to do is insulate and protect ourselves so we don't experience that pain. What are you saying, God? What are you saying? It usually manifests itself in what we call a trigger. When I say we insulate ourselves so we don't experience that pain, it's manifesting itself in a trigger. Somebody say, I'm triggered. Somebody say, I'm triggered. Let me say it this way. I want to be clear with you. A trigger is the manifestation of unresolved or unprocessed pain. And so many times we move through life trying to avoid pain. And when we come face to face or in the same arena of a specific pain, we insulate ourselves so that we don't experience that pain, which is what you call a trigger. And when we are triggered, what we are doing is we're insulating ourselves so that we do not experience that familiar pain. What we don't realize is unprocessed and undealt with. I'm going to talk today. Let me come to your doorstep. Let me come to your address. Let me pull up. Can I do that for you? Everyone is a child of God. Everyone is spirit filled, Holy Ghost filled, until somebody ignores you. Everybody's singing in the choir. Everybody's going to church, paying their tithes, until somebody raises their voice at you, until somebody does not respond to your text. Let you text somebody and you see the bubbles, and then you don't see anything and you don't get a response, and all of a sudden, yeah, you're a Christian until somebody cuts their eyes at you. You're a Christian, you're praying, you're speaking in tongues until you are on the highway and somebody cuts in front of you. Then all of a sudden something comes out of you, something comes over you. You speak in a language that nobody even knows, because the language, the cussing that you have perfected is because you are triggered. They don't want to talk to you. A trigger. Somebody say, I'm triggered. I'm triggered. I feel triggered. I feel triggered. A trigger is a habit that you have formed as a response to a pain. Ouch. That hurt me. We all are going to deal with pain. Therefore, it behooves us to know where to place our pain. Because as long as I'm holding on to my own pain, and as long as I am triggered and allowing my trigger, watch this, to become my default pain plan, meaning that I'm going to experience pain. But if I allow my trigger to be my pain plan, then what I'm saying is I'm going to keep holding on to this pain and I'm going to deal with it. When I say trigger, you want to know what happens when you're triggered? All right. When you're triggered, some of us, we fight, we cuss, we grow silent, we grow distant. When we're triggered, we scream, we yell, we run away, we get vengeance. When you are triggered, think about that thing. No, not that thing. Think about that thing. When somebody does that thing, then all of a sudden you go quiet, you go dark, you ain't friends no more. You move into another church. You're moving to a whole nother state. When someone does that thing, because that trigger is your response to pain. Instead of giving the pain to God, I've allowed the pain to become my God. And so when I experience pain, what I do is I have a set of responses that I have in my chest, in my archive. So whenever someone does that specific thing. Oh, I'm not talking about the 9 things that you've conquered. I'm talking about that one thing that when that man does not respond the way that you need him to or you expect him to, but he responds in a way that reminds you of that past marriage or that past situation, or that boss on your job, when that boss talks about you or gossips, or that boss doesn't hear you out, or that boss doesn't give you what you desire, and all of a sudden.
As a part of the American Heart Association, Heart Powered carries the torch for heart health.
Hear you out, or that boss doesn't give you what you desire, and all of a sudden, I'm triggered. Somebody say, I'm triggered. But I've come here today to talk to you on this live to simply communicate that you need a better pain plan. Oh, I know you're filled with the Spirit of God, but here's the truth. All of us have something in our lives that triggers us. And when you are triggered, what you are essentially saying is, this is an unprocessed pain that I have not dealt with. And because I am in the same vicinity with this thing that I don't like, I'm going to fight, I'm going to run, I'm going to get quiet, I'm going to do all these things so that I do not encounter that pain. Ouch. That hurt me. How do you respond to that pain that you're going to experience? There is a movie called Us that I know almost everybody has probably seen. One of my favorite movies. I had to watch it again. And the thing about this movie that I love, it's about 4 members of a family. A husband, a wife, and 2 children. They are living their best life. And then one day, the husband wants to go to their beachfront property. But see, what he didn't know was that there was pain his wife had experienced that she never talked about. And so he insisted going to their beachfront property that they hadn't been to in a long time. And the entire time his wife is apprehensive about going, they show up to this beachfront property and she is triggered. Somebody say, I'm triggered. He did not know because they had not talked about her pain. And because they had not talked about her pain, he is forced to deal with something his wife never talked about. Because when you don't deal with your pain, you cause yourself to leak on the people that you love. And so the movie, not the Bible, but the movie shows and it teaches us that while they are at this beachfront property, the powerful thing happens. One, they meet doppelgangers, or they meet another family who is identical to this family. But the thing about the doppelgangers is, although they are identical to this original family, they're wearing masks. And these doppelgangers, this second family, is designed to try to get them. They are the exact same people, but they're wearing masks. And when you look at them, they look the same. But the thing is, you can see the wounds, the visible wounds, which says that they are the visible representation of what this family is hiding. It gets better. And so they are trying to kill the original family. They're trying to get them to deal with themselves and to deal with the pain that nobody is talking about. Hold up. Don't disengage. Not only is it the mom who has past wounds that she had not talked about, and because they're at this beachfront property, she is triggered and everyone else is having to deal with it, but the husband also has unprocessed pain that was not made public until this family showed up at their doorstep. The family is identical to them. But when a parent does not deal with their pain properly, they run the risk of teaching their children how to deal with their pain by not dealing with it. Because if you continue to watch this movie, Us, you will discover that the daughter and the son, they both have things that they have that they're dealing with, pain that they're dealing with, wounds that they have. But because mom did not deal with her wounds, because dad did not deal with his pain, then I have been taught not to deal with my pain. And so they all are living a life pretending to be thriving, but they all have pain that has been unprocessed and unaddressed until a situation happens in their life where they are triggered. Somebody say, I am triggered. I'm triggered. The moral of the story is this: everyone has something that they have not dealt with. Everyone has a dream that they allowed to die. Everyone has something that they're hiding in some shape, form, or fashion. The movie is tailored to teach us that everybody has something that they're dealing with. But it behooves you to deal with it before it deals with you. The parents never dealt with their pain. And then something happens where they're triggered. And then everybody has to deal with it. I like that movie because that movie is a good segue into the passage. Not only is this something that we deal with, that I deal with, that I'm sure that my brother deals with, but this is something that in almost any counseling session, any therapy session that we know to be true, is that we live in a society that tries to avoid pain by all and any means necessary. But I promise you, you carry that baggage, you carry that pain everywhere you go. I need to encounter God as healer so I can give God the pain that I, for some reason, keep holding on to. But when you look at 1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 6 through 16, what I find absolutely powerful, you've heard us talk about this character, King Saul, but he is your poster boy of unprocessed and unconfronted pain. And he shows us how not dealing with your pain will sabotage kingdom relationships. He teaches us how not dealing with your pain will compromise your purpose. When you look at 1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 6 through 16, what is absolutely fundamentally powerful is that he seems to be okay, King Saul, until he encounters a man by the name of David. And the anointing that is on David's life, David's presence alone triggers fear, anger, stress in the life of Saul, and jealousy. Jealousy, anger, stress, all of these things are triggered when he meets David. David did not come into his life. David wasn't acting prideful. David wasn't trying to take his position as king. David's assignment was to become king after Saul served his tenure as king. But somehow, some way, the fact that David slayed Goliath, and all of the women of the town are now singing songs about David and not necessarily about Saul. And then all of a sudden, the success in David's life, it caused, the Bible teaches us, for Saul to have a jealous eye on David. Saul was angry, so much so the next day after he comes from defeating the giant, the Bible says that he was distressed. A spirit had distressed him, and he tried to kill David. He says, I'm going to pin you to the wall. I'm going to kill you. Why do you want to kill David? Simply because David's success Watch this. The success of David, it triggered an insecurity in Saul. God anointed David to eventually become the king. But here is the thing. David served Saul. David worked for Saul. All David wanted to do was to develop a friendship with Saul. But somewhere in Saul's life, some pain was undealt with and unprocessed and unconfronted. So much so that Saul did not want a relationship with David. He wanted somebody who did not threaten his success or his own life with their success. I don't want to be friends with David. I can't be friends with David. He's threatening me with his accomplishments. And many times when we have undealt with or unconfronted pain, you can tell by the quality of the relationships we have in our lives. I can point. It's easy to point when there is pain that has not been dealt with, because all you have to do is look at the quality of the relationships in someone's life. He did not want to be friends with David. I need people around me that when I talk, I always feel like I'm the smartest. I got to be the smartest, the sharpest one in the group that I roll with. No. I can't be in a situation where I feel like I'm exposed or that I feel dumb. I can't be around people who expose the frailty and the insecurities in me. So Saul could not allow David to be in the same space as him, because David did the same thing that Saul did, but he did it better. And the fact that he did it better, he didn't want to learn from David. He wanted to avoid David. I need to kill David because David exposes something in me that I do not want to address. I'm trying to talk to somebody. Ouch. I'm hurting.